And for more perspective on this, I'm joined by the Executive Director, Corporate Accountability and Participation Africa, Kimbode Oluwafemi. Good to have you join us on The World Now. The President is expected to bring to the fore Nigeria's stance on renewable energy and also climate financing. What other issues should be in the spotlight this year?
I think we have to put the climate discourse in perspective. Every year, global leaders meet for COP, and this is the 28th COP that is holding in Dubai. It's very good if you read the statement by the presidential spokesman, Julian Gilari, yesterday. First thing is to say we'll be very glad if the president can pursue what was written down. However, time and time again, we've not seen world leaders acting according to some of the things that they promise. The most important issue is that Nigeria must lead Africa to ask for climate financing that will address the pains and the agonies of frontline communities. Issue of climate finance is going to be very critical. Issue of climate preparedness and adaptation is going to be very critical. And of course, a lot of discussion is going to go on the issue of green economy. We think that the president should begin to think critically in terms of winning Nigeria from fossil fuel into green economy. And this is not about rhetoric, it's about action. Corporations have gathered together to promote 4 solutions that they call net zero. We think that emissions should be cut at source. Nigeria has a responsibility in that because gas flaring continues in the Niger Delta. We think that President Tinubu can join other African leaders to take decisive action, but most importantly, to ensure that Africa, bearing the brunt of climate change, despite contributing less than 4% into global warming, should receive the technical assistance that Africa needs, the financial assistance, and we're not even saying this should be in the form of tokenism or philanthropy. The West owe Africa climate reparation, the West owe Africa climate justice, the West owe Africa climate debt. And I think our president should be at the forefront of asking for climate.
Well, Mr. Femi, bringing it back to what you said earlier about climate financing, we know that developed nations pledge to funnel a combined total of about $100 billion a year towards this goal, which they affirmed during climate talks in 2015, which our president has also promised to remind them of. With the climate issues we have now and the increasing number of displaced persons, would you say these funds were properly used?
Now, the fund is not even there. It was a promise. So one of the things that our president could do is to hold them to the promise, to say, where is the fund you promised us? And lead other African countries to ensure that those commitments translate into practical realities in terms of getting those resources. Agreed, as you said, the funds, they're not even enough. Look, where my organization is launching a 3-country documentary about the impact of climate change in Ayetoro, Nigeria, another community in Cameroon, and another community in Kenya. And you could see the loss to, the vegetation. For instance, in Kenya, we have a community that have not seen good rain for 4 years. The entire local livelihoods are gone. We have communities in Cameroon that people are dying as a result of mining. Same happening now in Niger Delta. A whole community, Ayetoro, is sinking. How do you quantify for this? And that's why we're saying that even that 100 billion is not enough and that the West needs to do more because the calamity is more on African countries.
Also, the COP28 meeting this year is going to hammer on the fact that climate action cannot wait. And we know that this year has been the hottest year in record. Taking it back to the COP27, what is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is that first, we have to cut emission at source. The West needs to stop playing lip service to climate change. Africa has to be united in asking for a just transition. Africa has to be united in asking for a sustainable climate financing mechanism that is not actually going to be putting Africa again in debt. What we are hearing is that, even the issue around loss and damage fund now is that fund is not going to be, warehoused with the World Bank. And we will know what the World Bank is. World Bank will be charging about 25% from that fund. Our countries will be going there, capping and again to beg. And again, that fund will be taking like another debt or loan on our countries. And we're saying no to that. So we need a sustainable financial pathway for Africa to be able to adapt and move, into more sustainable economies.
Okay, Mr. Oluwafemi, we know that the president will also use this opportunity to, advocate increased financial and technical aid for developing nations. And you also know he has been keen on attracting foreign direct investment into Nigeria. How feasible is this?
So for that, this is where I want to sign a note of caution that while the president is actually asking for direct investment, we should be looking for climate resilient investment. There is such huge potential for green economy in Nigeria. We should be asking for, investment that's going to be pro people, that will protect the local livelihoods and protect our people, not again to be looking for investment in fossil fuel or investment that will further excavate the climate crisis.
Well, I've been speaking with the Executive Director, Corporate Accountability and Participation Africa, Akinbode Oluwafemi. Thank you for joining us on the news at this time.
Thank you so much.